It's not just Halloween costumes that liberal lunatics want canceled, it's Halloween itself. An elementary school in Seattle put an end to all Halloween celebrations, not because, like some Christians believe, that it's a celebration of evil and a demonic holiday, but because it supposedly marginalizes some students of color who don't celebrate it or whose single moms can't afford to buy them a costume to celebrate it. Even though I'm pretty sure the dollar store sells Halloween costumes and face paint, and they could always just get a fake plastic knife and put on a black beanie and some black gloves and go as O.J. Simpson. The decision was made by the school's racial equity team after 5 years of discussion, so they've been wanting to do this for some time now. I thought every culture around the world celebrated Halloween in one form or another, but if they don't, and some immigrants happen to move here, and then their kids are in public schools, and they don't want to celebrate Halloween, then that's too bad. It's called assimilation. It's called becoming an American. And if you don't like our holidays, then leave. Could you imagine moving to Japan or some country in the Middle East and then complaining about their cultural traditions and holidays? My people don't celebrate this holiday. I don't feel very included and think that it's divisive. I think you should stop. The cultural Marxists are determined to destroy America. Our culture, our customs, the churches, the traditional gender roles, the basic fabric of society, the family, the schools, our symbols, our history, everything is under attack. Stay tuned because there's plenty more to come in this video, but real quick, subscribe to my channel if you're new here. And if you're a regular viewer, share this video on your social media feeds and give me a shout out. And when I say share, I mean post the original link. Please don't download the videos and then re-upload them. You shouldn't do that to anybody. That's actually copyright infringement. You're siphoning off potential viewers and subscribers from the original source, the content creator. So sharing is posting an original link to the actual video itself. By the way, do you know who psychologist John Money is? He's the guy who coined the terms gender identity and sexual orientation. So, of course, he's hailed as a hero by the social justice warriors and the cultural Marxists. And, of course, as you may expect, he also endorsed pedophilia. John Money, look him up, the founding father of the gender identity movement, who literally coined the term. And then look up Henry Hay, a communist and early LGBT rights hero who endorsed NAMBLA. And since their ideas took root in the culture, now we have things like Good Morning America promoting child drag queens and boys in dresses being promoted in television commercials, like this new one for John Lewis Insurance. I probably have to mute the music or there'll be a copyright issue with YouTube, but as you can see, it's just more of the liberal agenda on full display. Remember a few years ago when they tried to cancel that race car driver, Lewis Hamilton, for saying that boys don't wear princess dresses? And then he apologized? Apologizing for saying that princesses are girls. Then, of course, the liberal media celebrated when actress Megan Fox dressed her son up as the princess from Frozen, Elsa. They also celebrated actor Liv Schreiber dressing his son up as Harley Quinn from one of those comic book movies, who, if you're not familiar with the character, she is played by Margot Robbie. But you're not allowed to criticize celebrities on Facebook anymore, since they know what's best. Mark Zuckerberg just updated the terms of service, preventing people from using too harsh of language in their criticism of celebrities. Before, you could say whatever you wanted to, and it wouldn't violate the rules, as long as obviously you're not calling for violence. But now, if they deem your criticism too harsh, it's a penalty. You're also not allowed to criticize journalists anymore, or supposed journalists, self-proclaimed journalists. They just added them to a special protected class, deeming them involuntary public figures. As you probably know, when you're criticizing a public figure, when it comes to like defaming them, if they're a public figure, then the bar is extremely high. They have to show malice, which is almost impossible, versus some ordinary person who, didn't thrust themselves into the spotlight. But now, all supposed journalists are involuntary public figures. It's part of Facebook's crackdown on harassment or criticism, in other words, of those who create and spread fake news. Scumbags like Katie Couric, who in her new memoir admits that for her interview of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she censored her comments criticizing Colin Kaepernick and the other idiots who are kneeling for the national anthem during football games. She didn't want people to see that a liberal icon and a prestigious member of the Supreme Court actually agreed with President Trump's assessment of this idiotic and anti-American activity. And now she's trying to squeeze a few more pennies out of her idiotic audience before she sails off into the sunset and retires. and is hinting that you need to buy her book in order to learn more. And now with Halloween just a few weeks away, we're going to be faced with an onslaught of idiots complaining about Halloween costumes being cultural appropriation and demanding that they be canceled now that they're so emboldened with everybody afraid to offend anybody these days. California State University Northridge has linked up on their website an article that lists 10 Halloween costumes that they say are racist, whether you realize it or not, that students should avoid. They include a gypsy, an Egyptian goddess, Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, and a COVID-19 costume, which I didn't even know exists, so I might have to get one. Do you remember when Megyn Kelly almost broke down into tears apologizing on her morning show on the major television network because the day before she said that she didn't think that Halloween costumes should be considered offensive and that kids could wear whatever they wanted?
Welcome to the show. I'm Megyn Kelly, and I want to begin with 2 words. I'm sorry. You may have heard that yesterday we had a discussion here about political correctness and Halloween costumes. And that conversation turned to whether it is ever okay for a person of one race to dress up as another. I defended the idea, saying as long as it was respectful and part of a Halloween costume, it seemed okay. Well, I was wrong, and I am sorry.
They still fired her, but she got to keep her $69 million stipulated in her contract, which isn't really getting canceled. That's more like being given an early retirement. Now, she's got a YouTube channel as a hobby, and she actually has done some good work. Remember, she did that interview with Reid, one of the women that old Joe sniffed, and made some pretty big headlines. And she's a whole new woman now that she's not constrained with the strings of a network that's telling her what she can and cannot say.
Forgive me, but these have lied to us for long enough, and we need to know the truth. I mean, just to put too fine a point on it, but...
If you like what I have to say, click the thanks button below the video on the right next to the thumbs up button, and leave a super thanks in the comments. It's like a super chat during a live stream, but it's a comment on a regular video. It's a way for you to drop a little tip and support the channel, and of course you can get one of my shirts like the Arrest Dr. Fauci shirt before he gets banned at markdice.com, or click the link in the description below, or a Beware of Democrats shirt, or a Liberalism Find a Cure shirt, or any of my awesome designs. All available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and a whole bunch of different colors as well. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.